Politicians, you know what, they don't want term limits. They're uncomfortable with that because they always want to get reelected because they couldn't make a living under the laws that they pass. I mean, that's a bit of an issue, hey, but they expect us to live under those laws that they pass, and is not very nice. California, they are against guns. They're pretty much against anything that's got anything to do with freedom. I mean, I spent a lot of time in California, and most business people always apologize for their state because it's such a cumbersome place to do business. I mean, everybody says, hey, I'm sorry, but we live in California, you know, and that's why things are so bad. And it's bad. I mean, every time there's a shooting accident, for instance, I say an accident or any type of shooting incident is more like it, because when the bad guys do something bad, the politicians in California always say it's a gun's fault, and we have to take guns away from everybody who didn't do something bad. You know what? When our families' lives are at stake, with more criminals out of prison now than ever before, that's another California story, of course. There's just, you know, letting them loose all the time. They say we can't afford to feed them. Of course you can't, because you're wasting all your money doing other things that don't need to be done. It's critical that we have the ability to actually fight back, and not with our hands tied behind our back. I mean, you gotta have a right to have a gun. Good people don't do bad things. And the California people, they're just wild. All they do is say, let's get the guns away from everybody, except it's always interesting to note that the politicians, they have guards, and the guards, they're armed bodyguards. I mean, good bloody grief. Here's a picture of the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas. I like staying there. You know, I'm with my own people, right? All the Democrats moved out, and they ain't coming back. And it's kind of nice. You go down into the dining room and you can eat and you can talk about politics, and you know you're safe amongst people who give a darn. Kind of makes me feel happy. Recently, my children bought 2 units in the hotel, and they put it into the rental pool, and it's kind of good, and I hope they let me stay there someday. Trump, the world is mostly against him, I guess, and they talk about him all the time. He's been great for news and ratings and things like that, and you know, I always say to people, give the man a chance. I mean, picture a kitchen where you got 15 people in there making lunch, and everybody is bumping the cook and putting other stuff, spitting in the soup, doing whatever it is they do, and then they're mad at everybody, calling everybody names, and guess what? It never gets made, and if it does, nobody wants to eat it anyway, and even if something good comes out of the kitchen, nobody cares, because it's overshadowed by the bad. Give them a chance. Everybody just shut up and leave them alone. I mean, that would be kind of a nice thing to do. I mean, this undermining, this constant stuff goes on and on and on. Canada is legalizing pot for recreational use. I guess that's all right. I don't mind that particularly. People should be allowed to do what they want to do as long as it doesn't hurt somebody else. Canada, though, will restrict and limit access, and will introduce tougher penalties. Possession is limited to 30 grams, and on and on. So a typical liberal government says, you can do this, we're going to make it legal, but here's all the reasons why you can't really do it. I mean, if you're going to put limits on that, and I've never smoked a joint in my life, but you know what? From the logical perspective, if you're going to put limits on it, do the same thing with booze. I mean, say you can only buy 2 bottles of beer a week, or something like that. I mean, that probably wouldn't go over very well. So why are you doing it with marijuana? Either it's legal or it isn't illegal. Don't tell me I can, but I can't. Typical government. They'll have more agencies now to oversee all this nonsense and go out and you know, they do create employment though, don't they? Because they keep on hiring people to do things that don't need to be done. Legal? You want it legal? Legalize it and shut up. Gotta move on now, but they won't. They're going to keep on mutzing around until it's wrecked. California, by the way, back to them. They're doing the same thing. I mean, they're also going legal. They're even worse in Canada right now. They're saying, you're legal, you can do it, but you got to do this, and you can't be there, and you can only be over here, and it's getting so complicated. Everybody's getting a headache. You all come back here tomorrow, and I won't give you a headache tomorrow. We'll talk about more stuff that's right, because right is good, and left, those guys in Canada and all these other places that have this liberal stuff going on, it ain't so much fun. Hey, see ya.